extremely proud of both young men. We wanted to honor them tonight, this evening. However, they had a basketball game. We will be honoring them both next month. Okay, Superintendent's Recognition Award goes to a student who is ranked number 5 in his class and maintains a heavy honors and AP schedule. He is in the National Honor Society and the Spanish National Honor Society. The student wants to major in electrical engineering and has already been accepted to NJIT and the Ocean County Stars program. Outside the classroom, the student is a 3-sport athlete participating in football, indoor and outdoor track. He also belongs to the Science League and the Future Business Leaders of America Club. This year, you will see him starring in the high school musical, Beauty and the Beast, starring as the Beast. Please join me in congratulating Keyshawn Conover.
I apologize, he was supposed to be here tonight. I forgot his answer phone right now. I'm not sure where he is, but he was supposed to be here tonight, so I apologize for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Goldstein. Okay, I am pleased to inform you that for the first time in 5 years, a Lakewood High School student has been selected to participate in the All-Shore Band Directors Jazz Band. The All-Shore Band Directors has created an all-star type program to highlight the most talented high school students in all of Monmouth and Ocean counties. Lakewood Junior Miguel Yepes completed an audition process and has been selected as the second chair alto saxophonist for the A band, which is the highest caliber band that is offered through this group. Miguel auditioned against the best saxophonists from the 49 high schools in both counties and placed second overall. At Lakewood High School, Miguel is a diligent student and is currently enrolled in 4 honors level class courses as well as 2 AP courses. Additionally, he is a club officer for Music Honor Society, captain of the chess team, and attends the PACE program at Brookdale Community College. Congratulations, Miguel Yepes. Now I am proud to introduce to you our esteemed supervisor of early childhood education, Mrs. Henny Moses, who's going to briefly review our early childhood program. Henny? Or you can move all the way to the side over there. Sorry.
Okay, firstly, I want to just thank Mrs. Winters for giving me this opportunity to get up here and share with you my passion for early childhood education and give you a little peek and insight into what is going on at the Lakewood Early Childhood Center. Thank you for all your support, always, for the program. Thank you, Joanne, for everything you pulled through for us. Okay, so just a little bit, I wanted to share with you the research on early childhood education in general. Reading through some of the research is really astounding, and I just posted up here some of the outcomes in general include reduced grade retention, less involvement in delinquency and crime. So we're talking about children who go through an early childhood, a high-quality early childhood program, are less likely to be involved in delinquency and crime, so read safer streets. Reduce special education placement, read less forcefully to educate, persistent and meaningful gains in achievement. This is just some of the studies that were recently done. The big one was called the Apple study. And the state and federal government are always trying to do studies to back their early childhood policies and all the funding that they earmark for early childhood. So this is just a little bit of the recent research that I read through. Specifically here in Lakewood, I wanted to share with you some of the progress that has been made. The system that we use for taking data, we don't have standardized assessments yet, obviously they're too young for that. but we do have an online data program called TS Gold that really goes through all the academic, social, emotional, cognitive, language, all the areas, and the New Jersey state standards for preschool, and takes data on the children's performance very, very frequently. I wanted to share with you some of the percentages, specifically in the areas of literacy and math. When I ran a snapshot report on the entire program in the month of October, only 12% of our students were performing at age-expected level in literacy, in all areas of literacy, not only letter recognition, but like rhyming and all that kind of stuff, the real free reading. Only 12%, and now I just ran a report now in February, and we're over 60% of our students are performing at age-expected level. For math, in October, 2% of our students came in performing at age-expected levels, and now we are close to 40%. That's very exciting. There's something else that's a state assessment that is done in every classroom. It's called the ECHRS, and we are trained to administer it. What it does is it rates the environment. It rates the classroom environment. It tells you how high quality of a preschool classroom you have. It goes through the materials, the safety procedures, and the interaction between teacher and student. The last study that was done in New Jersey was in 2011, and the state average was a 5.3, the highest score being 7. At this point, we've just completed our round of ECHRS on all our classes this year, and we are over 6. So that's really, really nice. The classrooms are well-stocked. Our teachers are doing amazing work interacting with the students, and all safety and cleanliness and all that kind of stuff is being followed really, really well. I did my own little research kind of study actually 2 years ago. I wanted to see, as the students enter kindergarten, the kindergarten teachers do what they call a kindergarten entry assessment, and they assess the students on a couple of different skills, mostly letter recognition and stuff like that. And I wanted to see what kind of advantage the students that had the preschool experience came in at. And 2 years ago when I did this, they came in at a significant lead of over 10 points. This year we have a really strong phonemic awareness initiative that we are starting, and I'm hoping to do this again next year. But definitely high quality preschool education gives our kids an advantage when it comes to kindergarten. At the preschool where we developed many district connections, we had many of the district administration come and read books to the children in honor of the holidays. Thank you all to all of you who did come. And we had recently the high school music and art students came, and they interacted with our students. It was really beautiful. The music students played music, they showed them all the instruments, and we had middle school students scheduled to come read books to the children in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday on February 27th, so that's exciting. And you know, it was really, really nice for the preschool students. It was a great hands-on learning experience, but I have to say that it was really, really nice for the high school students as well. Like, they were really very nurturing, and I see Ms. A nodding, the head of the event. They had a great, great time, and I think it was great for them to come out and see the preschoolers and have that experience of giving and nurturing and interacting with the little ones. And I told some of them, I hope to see you back here in a couple of years for job interviews. They were great. So just to get a little bit specific, I brought you a couple of examples of what we do. This is what we call like a response to reading. The classroom read the book Harold and the Purple Crayon. That was during the thematic unit of art. And every student is asked a question. And the question was, I'm sorry, you can't read it. It says, if you were Harold and you had a purple crayon, what would you draw? And every child has to think about what they read and think about what they would like to draw. And you can see in the enlarged picture, a little girl named Mackenzie was able to write her whole name on top, represent her idea beautifully, and on the bottom she tried to write what she drew, and she made it FML for family. This teacher wrote that underneath. I think that was great. And you can see the smaller ones, many of them are writing their name and representing their artwork and writing a lot of letters to tell you what they drew. Whatever we do in the preschool, no matter what academic skill area is we remain true to developmentally appropriate practice. We never want to push down older grades and older expectations on our preschoolers, because when that happens, we are at risk of like a shaky foundation. We always want to make sure that we stay true to developmentally appropriate practice so that the learning is solidified and they can go on and build on a solid foundation. So it's interesting when you read about success, academic success, and you think about which students are going to make it in elementary school and do well in elementary school, and you read the research, it's not necessarily the students that left preschool knowing the ABC, knowing how to count, and knowing how to write letters. It's not necessarily those students that are scoring better in their tests in later years. It's the students that are able to problem solve and self-regulate and interact with their peers. And we spend a lot of time helping our students develop those kind of skills through play and throughout the day, really. And you can see in this one little picture how much negotiation is going on, how much they have to listen to their peers, take into account what their friends are thinking, how much planning went on prior to this picture. And preschool really does a lot of that. And if you think about success in elementary school, like all the self-regulation that is needed to stay focused in class, all the negotiation that goes in to day-to-day a day in elementary school, we really try to give them the foundation that they need to be successful in that way. A big focus in the Lakewood Early Childhood Center is parent involvement. And I think in education in general, parent involvement is seen as like something that everybody believes in and subscribes to, but it's kind of hard to get parents involved when the kids are older. And in the Lakewood Early Childhood Center, we see ourselves as having that advantage of being preschool. Our kids are still young. Preschool is a very inviting and friendly place. It's not intimidating to come into the preschool, so we have a lot of programs going on for parents to come in. We have incentive programs for them to come read their child's class a book. We recently celebrated highlighting heritage, and the parents were invited to come in to talk about their heritage, bring pictures, sing songs, and a lot of parents took us up on that. We also have a wonderful PTO that has fantastic events, both information giving for parents, and as well as fun interactive events that encourage parents to come spend time with their child, specifically with their preschool child. As you can see in the large picture, how beautiful that moment is between father and son. It was a daddy and me night at the preschool. Just the father and son came and had such a wonderful time painting each other's hands. And I like to think about Lakewood really as the Lakewood Early Childhood Center, as a microcosm of Lakewood itself, really bringing everybody together in a beautiful way. The last component of the Early Childhood Center that I wanted to touch on is our highly successful special education program. We have a strong focus on mainstreaming our students, and as I mentioned before, the research talks about how an early childhood program will limit the amount of students that need special education or have to be retained. We really focus on that, and we have a successful program mainstreaming our students when they are ready. We have the special ed and the gen ed program side by side, so they're able to do it slowly as the student is able to, for whatever portions of the day they are able to join their mainstream peers. That's the big focus of our special education program. We have a very strong data system that has been developed so that we're able to monitor progress of the child's individual goals, and we spend a lot of time and energy with our collaborative team of teachers and therapists really trying to figure out what is this child's area of deficit, why this child cannot access the curriculum along with their peers. And once we have that information and we feel like we know this child and we know how they learn best, we work to give that information over to the next year's teacher. And the last point that I highlighted was collaboration with the kindergarten special ed. And really, we're doing a lot of collaboration with the kindergarten special ed, but really with the kindergarten in general for our gen ed students as well. And Mrs. Silvera has been a wonderful ally in this, really to give over whatever we know about our students so that the kindergarten teacher doesn't have to discover America all over again and really can get right into the learning with all the information. We're in touch with the guidance counselor for the gen ed students that are typical learners. They just may have some home issues or whatever. We already have that information. Sending them out to kindergarten with the teachers having that prior knowledge really gives them an advantage. So I thank you for listening, and I hope that you join me in really having high hopes for our preschoolers and hearing great things from them.
Does anyone have any questions for Mrs. Moses? Thank you, Mrs. Moses. Mrs. Moses, this is her first year as supervisor of the Early Childhood Center, and she's doing a phenomenal job. She never stops. No matter how good she makes the program, it's never good enough for Mrs. Moses, and I'm very proud to have her as part of the staff. Thank you, Mrs. Moses.
I'd like to take this opportunity for Isaac Slatkin, our ex-president, to make a presentation, please.
Thank you, Ada. I'm going to report on the Personnel and Negotiations Committee. We have met today, and there are some announcements I'd like to make. First one is that I have proposed, and it was supported in the committee, it was supported by the administration and the monitor, to have customer service engagement, so to speak, where we will have people come in, and anybody in the district who interacts with the public will get, I guess, would be a course on how to improve the customer service. That is the idea. So it would affect anybody who interacts with the parents, anybody from the public, in the schools who interact with the district. The idea behind it is that we have good staff, but every entity once in a while goes through customer service, which is in our day and age is very important, and basically we would like as a district to improve in that regard. That is number one, and we will have a resolution to that effect. The second announcement is in the grants department. The proposal is to hire 2 additional people on the front end of it, people who will be reviewing the documentation. It will, right now we have 1 person who is doing it between 90 schools. The proposal is to have 2 additional people, and I guess the schools that apply for grants will be split into, I guess, 3 tiers, and each person will service their schools. Currently, there is kind of a backlog, and it takes time, and we want to, I guess, help the staff, the current staff, and take a little bit of the load of them, improve the timeline. And also, there's suggestions about workshops for the non-public schools to further the compliance. Also, I guess, educate the non-public schools in terms of what documentation is needed. It's a learning curve right now. A lot of rules are changing, so it's a 2-tier effort. One is improve the customer service, and also educate the non-publics in terms of what is needed and which will shorten the time, because once everyone is aware of what documentation, what details, and what specs is submitted for whatever their request is, it will make it easier for everyone. That is it.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Right now, I would like to call to the front Tracy Tiff, please. Could you come to the mic, please? Thank you. Tracy was the only candidate that applied for the position of Jonathan Silva, who was the only candidate. Tracy, I just have one question for you. In your career and in your personal life, is there anything that would keep you from being an effective board member like you were before? Okay. Well, without getting into much detail, I don't know why this happened, but it just, this past week, there's been articles about, where you were. So some people have concerns and, they want answers, but I understand you're not allowed to talk about that. I am just asking if whatever happened there would affect anything, would affect you as a board member here. I mean, for 10 years, you did a great job.
For 10 years, I was on the board, and no time has my job ever affected me on this board or my attendance on the board. Always make every meeting, regardless of what's going on. No,
I see. Does anyone from the board have any more questions for Tracy?
What are you talking about?
Okay, that's why we can't get into
That's a
details.
good question.
yes.
Good question. It's got nothing to do.
Right, no.
I have a question. Tracy, are you named in the civil lawsuit that's going on right now, that's been reported out there?
I believe that is public knowledge.
Well, again, there's something reported in the press. I want to ask you because I don't know if what's reported being true. So,
Well, like I said, I really can't talk about it because it is a personal issue and it is open case. Like I said before, nothing that my job will affect me being in this board.
I see no more questions. I make a motion to appoint Mr. Tiff to fill the unexpired vacancy on the board led by Jonathan Silver. Can I get a second on that?
Man up.
Let me remind this board that Mr. Tiff has been on this board 10 years, and whatever happened was 4 years ago, so like he said, nothing that happens in his personal life affects his job here.
I'm just concerned about the distraction that the press is going to create. Lakewood is going with enough issues and.
Nothing, but every time the press puts an article out about Lakewood, the district, the school, you know, it's always bad press. You know what I mean? It's always bad press. So I don't understand where you're going with that question. That would go.
Is there a second, please?
Y'all need to man up.
The motion dies on the floor without a second.
There you go, Doc.
So, board, the law has 65 days to fill the vacancy. I believe the vacancy was created on January 6th, I believe. I'd have to triple check with Ms. Winter. She received it from Mr. Silver, which means according to my calculations, the board has to fill that vacancy by March 12th, I believe. We do have a meeting scheduled for March 11th. So, I guess somebody on the board would have to make a motion to re-advertise the vacancy. And set a
Motion to
new deadline.
re-advertise vacancy.
Second.
I really would like to have someone explain to me why.
Tracy, get a
We're in
lawyer.
the middle of a, we're in the middle of a motion, sorry. So we had a motion by, I forget who it was, who was the one who made a motion to re-advertise?
I'm making a motion to re-advertise.
Seconded by Mr. Friedman. Discussion.
Is there a reason why we got one? Only
We're in the middle, hang on a second.
You said
We're in the middle of a vote.
Didn't I hear discussion?
Yes.
Okay. We only had one individual. Where did we advertise? Right?
Same places.
Yes, in charge of.
Same place we always do.
It was on the Lakewood School. The EPP?
It was advertised in the.
Maybe we need a stronger advertising base.
Was it put on the website also? Town hall and front lobby, according to Ms. Sandra, thank you.
Any
Roll call.
further discussion? Roll call, please.
Jackowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenblatt?
This is to
Yes.
re-advertise the vacancy.
Re-advertise, yes. And to verify that that March 11th meeting is not going to be had.
I will verify.
Mr. Weinberger? Mr. Lakin?
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr.
Gonzalez.
No.
Motion passes 4-2. I have a question. What happens if the board can't come to a decision in 65 days? What's the procedure?
The board, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What is the procedure if the board cannot come to
Then the Ocean County Superintendent will place a placement like I was placed for Mr. Greenspan.
That's exactly
Ms.
correct.
Gonzalez is appointed by the county superintendent.
Correct. So if the board doesn't fill the vacancy within the 65 days, the executive county superintendent will find a member of the community to seat on the board.
I'd like to ask a question of the board. I don't know if it's ethical or if it's right. Okay. Tracy, I'm sorry for this moment, and I'm hoping that within the next week or so, I can turn people around, and I would like for you to be one to reapply again. Once, I guess everyone on the board doesn't understand and doesn't have all the facts.
Well, they don't have all the facts. They should have taken, they should have.
Ms. Gonzalez,
We're not judging you.
Ms. Gonzalez, with all due respect, I didn't know anything. You just said something. I sat down here and you said something about civil lawsuits and affecting. You can't expect me to go ahead with, you open the floor with something that, you open some sort of can, I'm not sure what's in that can.
Okay, Mr.
You wanted
Rose-
me to think something, so.
Yes, Mr. Rosenblatt.
We have 30 days, you want to discuss
Yes,
it, we can call a
I
meeting.
hear you,
and
we took
can
a
discuss
vote,
it.
it's done, it's done.
We can discuss it.
Next thing on the,
I'm sorry, Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
I would like to have an explanation of why. Since I was the only one who applied for the position. It was posted within the legal guidelines. The deadline had ended, no one else had put any letters in.
I will,
And then based on some story that you that you read in the paper, is that what you're basing your decision on?
okay, to our attorney, to the best of your knowledge, how can we best answer him? Without getting into details.
I think Mr. Friedman did answer his question, which is that I guess, if I don't want to put words in your mouth, that what you read in the paper caused you concern in terms of your vote this evening. Is that accurate?
I would love to vote you in, it's just a distraction at
Is
this
that accurate
moment.
based on what you read in the paper?
No, I'm not judging you, I think you're a
No,
good
no,
guy.
that's what I'm asking, is that based on what you read in the paper, is that what you're basing your decision on?
Distraction?
It definitely created a distraction.
Really? Y'all want a distraction? A distraction? Really?
Right, members of the public will have an opportunity, please,
I haven't
to get
read
up to the
it.
microphone.
Let's get to it. Tracy, we got you.
That's it?
Really
The
distracted.
vote did not get the second, so it did not pass, obviously, because it never even got in.
But the voters of this community made him the next.
That's a bunch of bull.
My mind is out.
Are you going to bridge this place?
Let's go to the
Public participation.
bunch of puppets. That decision didn't come from them.
But they not paying enough.
Public participation, I would like to bring Isaac Slack to the front, please, because to me, and to a lot of other people that have came up to me, last year was a very, very, very difficult year for him to be president. It was when, the state monitor came in, courtesy busing was hairline cut, and his family suffered a lot. So, Isaac, please come to the front. We would like to honor you.
It's not deserved. Sure is. Very disrespectful. Get some public candidates award.
Weakest leader we ever had. Being rewarded. Jellyfish.
Vengo también.
I'm sorry. I get out of hand, we have to call.
Mark, how?
Thank you.
He's in
I want the public to know that we have two agendas. One, like two sign-in sheets. One for the agenda, and another one for anything else that anyone wants to talk about. The first sign-in sheet that we're going to do has to do with the agenda.
Good, because Tracy's on the agenda.
Miriam, could you translate that in Spanish in case someone? Oh, okay. Oh, they have the mic. Okay. Tom, what is the first thing for the agenda, the first name of the agenda?
Mr. Bill Hobday.
Bob Baker, Schoolhouse Lane. Good evening, Madam President and Board. Members. My take on the agenda was to look at number 3 on page 2, review candidates eligible to fill the Board of Education. And I saw Mr. Tipp's name there. Let me assure you that Mr. Tipp is a man of integrity, honor, participates. He always seems to make the right decision. Mr. Tipp has a kind of a high-pressure job. He works with the public. We've all seen issues in the paper where you are in a situation, and of course, becomes confidential. You are bound not to speak on the issue, but it's an issue that happened a while back, and of course now it will be tried and things like that. But Mr. Tipp was doing his job as an enforcement officer. Now, all of us could be in that same situation, no matter what. And what I'm telling you is this: there's not a man in this township with higher integrity, with that gift to participate and understand, but always to do the best thing for every student in the school district. A man that you need on the board. I know we have new board members, and thank God we have you. We need your wisdom, your counsel. But Tracy has an experience to help us through difficult times. I monitor these kinds of boards in Lakewood Township, and time after time after time, I'm so pleased with the decisions that Mr. Tipp makes, the integrity by which he makes them, and his presence here. Now, I see you have 6 of 8 members here tonight. I call you all heroes that come. I wish there was 9 of 9, and I was hoping tonight that you would make Mr. Tipp the 9th person. I hope that that doesn't go away, that you have another opportunity to name him as the newest board member. And I thank you so much, Madam President. Thank you, board members. Thank you, professionals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hopday. Next on the list?
Pastor Glenn.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In my profession as a pastor, expression of anger is never a good thing. But for me to sit here tonight and watch the hypocrisy of this board is really angering me. Talking about bad press, all the bad press that the Lakewood school system has received, including this board, all of you should resign. Because all we have gotten for the last 10 years has been bad press. And through all the bad press, Tracy Tiff has been there. When the incident that you read about in the papers took place, Tracy Tiff was on this board. There was no distraction. As a matter of fact, the most faithful member of this board has been Tracy Tiff. Never late, never misses. Listen, if you guys need to go out and make a call and talk to whoever talks you into making this bad decision, take a break and go do it. You haven't done it before. This is incredible. You know, the most faithful member of our board, he should have been the one to get a key tonight.
That's right.
And I hope that you guys reconsider this. We will not take this decision sitting down, because to us, it seems like there is something behind this.
Absolutely.
That is not what happened here tonight. So I hope that you reconsider. You know, if you're serious about the education of our children,
That's right.
we need Tracy Tip back on that board, because he has been the most consistent member of that board for all the time that he's been there. Bad press? Are you kidding me? All we ever get is bad press.
That's right.
So I pray that you reconsider your decision and you know, put Tracy Tiff where he belongs. Let's honor him for the work that he's done.
Yes.
Fred Rush.
Fred Rush, I ain't gonna pass it. And I can display my anger
Yes.
as much as I want, even though he does have an influence on me. You know, you talk about you said that, Mr. Freeman, you talked about publicity. Let me tell you what we talk about. We talk about the fact that we have all these public schools, and right now the ratio, and you win and you won fair and square. That's your right to do that. But we talk about the ratio of 7 Orthodox men and one other person who was Hispanic. And I remember the last meeting when the president said it would be nice to have a minority. What are you worried about? You still have voters. You're going to get what you want. You still have 72, 82, 81. I'm appalled that you guys would make this decision. Him being the only candidate, what does that mean? That gives you time to go and find someone else? Well, we have somebody that's capable right there. And you should have done the research. Well, you didn't have to do that. His record speaks for himself. It does, and we know that. You've heard it from Mr. Hobday, from Pastor Glenn, and now I add my comments to it too. You know, we often talk about like the work I've done speak for me. Well, he can say that. For you guys to just arbitrarily throw it out and not give a damn, because that's exactly what it is.
That's right.
And not listen at the wishes of the people. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have another Orthodox man. Because that's what it seems like you guys have.
Right.
Next, please.
That's the end of the list. Move on to the agenda. Minutes from January 7th, 2015. I need a motion. Mr. Munn is not here, he's the only one who can abstain. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Rosenblatt. Second.
Second.
Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes from January 14th of 2015. Mr. Weinberger, you're the only one who can abstain.
Motion.
Where's the motion from? Rosenblatt. Second. Alex, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Weinberger, you will abstain. Yes. I have corrections to the agenda. On page, the first one we have is on page 6. Remove item J. It's not necessary to make that transfer. On page 10, items number 10, 11, and 12. Change the spelling of the name from Trayhey to Trahey. page 10, remove item number 19. On page 15, remove item number 37. Goes to the top of page 16. At the bottom of page 16, remove items 44 and 45. And on page 22, remove Tim, the word Tim, and then assistant boys track coach. A motion to accept the corrections?
Motion.
Mr. Friedman, second?
Second.
By Josh. Thank you. Mr. Jankowicz? Mr. Rosenblatt?
Abstain.
Mr. Weinberger?
Yes.
Mrs. Larkin?
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Can we discuss it?
I think we skipped the discussion, so we have all of those four members who have.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Discussion.
Item J on page 6, I was wondering if that's coming out of the referendum?
On page 6?
Yes.
When we make a transfer from the 11th fund to the 12th fund, the board must pass a resolution to make that transfer, and then that has to be approved by the county. We had a project that had to come out of the 12th fund, and we found that we have $900,000 in the 12th fund already from the lease purchase, that we're going to have to transfer back into the 11th fund eventually. So we're using some of that money in the 12th fund instead of transferring money from the 11th fund. So this is not necessary.
And item K, it says it was less, page 6, item K, it says it was less than 10% below state contract. That's a large amount of money that we want to spend. Can we go shopping on that?
Well, we're not on that part of the agenda, we're on the corrections. When we move the agenda, okay? Any other questions on the corrections?
Motion.
Excuse me, just for 1 minute.
Oh, the bus policy. Second reading. It's on there.
Okay, on page 22, the last item that I gave you, change the name Tim to Timothy, and change the title from Assistant Boys Track Coach to Paraprofessional Track Coach. That was part of the change. Mr. Friedman, would you amend your motion to accept that change?
Yes.
And Mr. Weinberger?
Yes.
Mr. Jankowicz, you have voted yes?
Yes.
Mr. Weinberger? Yes. Mrs. Larkin?
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Moving to the agenda, the business agenda. From page 3 to page 8. A motion for the business agenda?
Move it.
By
So I mean,
Mrs. Larkin?
yes.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. Gonzalez, second. Discussion.
Okay. I think I sound repetitive, it's pretty much the monthly repetition, but this budget has been put forth not by the board is being asked to vote on it, and at the end of the year, last year when the budget failed, everybody points their fingers to the board that the board failed the budget. So as a refresher for your memory, we voted, I myself voted, I can't say we, I voted the budget, I voted against the budget, but ultimately as a board, it voted down and the monitor put it through. That being said, we didn't trust, I didn't trust, or whoever voted that, the actual numbers, that these are numbers that will balance the budget in 2015. So as to not run into a shortage at the end of the year, and a finger pointed on myself for passing a budget that ultimately will run us to the ground, I will be voting no on all budgetary items every month. I'll say this speech every month as well.
Mr. Rosenblatt, appreciate your comments. You do know that if you vote no on the certification of the budget, you must write a letter to the county, executive county superintendent, and explain to him why you voted no.
Okay, so you'll just fill me in, you'll email me what to do and the address, and I'll, guess you'll give me all instructions. And the address, I'll pay for the stamp, and just let me know.
Okay. Any other comments on the?
I had a question.
Yes.
Okay. It says that it's less than 10, page 6, item K. It says that the quote was below 10%, below state's contract quote. It's a large amount of money, and I'm wondering if we went shopping on that, it would just.
Well, Mr. Friedman, this was an emergency situation where the fire alarm went out. We had really no choice but to do whatever we could. We did shop, we saw what the state contract was, and we got one other quote that was 10% below the state contract. When we awarded it, we didn't have to award it for that because it was an emergency. But because it was 10%, we awarded it at that time. Normally, we would go for 3 quotes on that, and especially when we go 10% below the state contract. It was a matter that the safety of the staff and the students in the building was at risk without having the fire alarm that was operating, and so we had to get out and do it right away.
Understood.
Any other questions?
I just want to make sure I can follow through with that. I don't want that to... Tom, you're going to send me that email, correct? With the instruction?
Yes, sir. I
Okay,
will.
thank you so much. Down the record.
Any other questions? Mr. Jankovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenblatt?
No.
Mr. Weinberger?
Yeah.
Mrs. Lakin?
Can I ask you a question? If I abstain, do I still have to write that letter, or it's only if I say no?
Same also.
Okay, so I'll abstain.
Yes, he's voting against, not voting for the certification of the budget. Abstain also.
I'll check what the code says, it's pretty clear as to what happens. I don't know if an abstention counts, I'll let Mr. Rosenblatt know whether an abstention. Certainly a no vote does, I'm not positive about it.
If I don't have, we're gonna have it like this. If I don't have to, if it's an abstain, then I'll abstain. If I have to regardless, then it'll be a no. Is that fair?
How do you want to vote today?
I have to vote one way or another. Abstain.
Abstain.
And abstain? We have to vote. Abstain for the entire business agenda.
Yes, abstaining for the entire
Mr. Weinberger, is he back yet? Yeah, he's here. Mr. Slackton?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Items on the superintendent's agenda on page 9 through 25. Need a motion?
Motion.
Aye.
Second.
Got time again? Thank you. Yes. Comments? Mr. Jankovich? Yes. Mr. Rosenblatt?
No.
Mr. Weinberger?
Yes.
Mrs. Lakin?
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
We have additions to the agenda on page 1 through 8. Have a motion to accept the additions. Motion. By. Second. Second. Questions? Mr. Jankovich? Yeah. Mr. Rosenblatt?
Abstains.
Mr. Weinberger?
Yes.
Mrs. Lackey?
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer? You have any motions you want to add to the? Yes, I do. Thank you.
Can I make one comment? Can we get the names in alphabetical order like it was last year in the vote?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Well, unless the president decides, I don't know how the protocol is, what the protocol is.
Alphabetical?
Last year was just Ms. Ada Gonzalez would be by G and just,
Okay.
the R ends up at the end.
Two additional resolutions. First is resolved, the Board of Education directs the administration to solicit proposals for a company to provide customer service training for designated staff in the district. Vote on that one first. We have to move it.
Can you repeat that? I apologize. Can you repeat that?
Sure. Resolved that the board directs the administration to solicit proposals for a company to provide customer service training for designated staff in the district.
Motion. Motion by
Josh.
second.
Discussion.
Discussion.
How would this customer relationship service, is this something that is anonymous